Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you saw last week's video, you saw that I started decorating the inside of my house for fall, just making some changes to make it a little bit more cozy, a little bit more darker, more fall colors. And I'm ready to move outside to start making some changes. But before I can start decorating out there, I want to do a few things first to get it kind of cleaned up, a couple little projects. A while back I posted a video of the exterior of my home and got you guys opinions on what you think I should do for as far as the grass situation and all of that. And I mentioned a project that I really wanted to do, and that was adding brick to my front porch. I think it'll just be a really nice accent and really add some character to the space out there. I've talked about before, whenever I am starting a project, whenever I get an idea for a project, the first thing that I will do is kind of compare costs to see if it's even reasonable to do. And that has been so much easier thanks to today's sponsor, the Build Club. So Build Club is a high-tech startup company that was founded to solve the problem of transparency in building supplies, in pricing and availability. They use the power of AI and big data, so small contractors or people like me can find the materials that they need and compare prices and get their items quickly. So here's how it works. Build Club's AI scans all of the big box stores for the best pricing and availability. Over 17 million products are tracked every single day, and also over 2,000 stores. It's available in all 50 states as well. It was so helpful whenever I was comparing all of the prices for the project for the front porch, different brick pavers, different grouts and things, so I was able to see what was available to me locally and also compare the prices. The Build Club team is dedicated to helping the small contractor and DIY enthusiasts like me to save money and also finish their projects faster. So if you guys are interested in Build Club, I will leave the link down in the description below. So if you guys have been around for a few months, you will remember when I did my brick fireplace surround, I had about 75% of a box of thin brick left over from that. And I was like, no big deal. I'll just use that for the front porch, which I really like the color, and I'll just purchase some more of that most likely to finish off this front porch. Well, the issue is the corner pieces. They're completely out of stock. So I'm going to have to get a little bit creative. I ordered a couple different kinds of corner pieces just to see if those would kind of blend in, but they don't work because first of all, it's very obvious that they're a different brick, and then they are also taller, thicker than the thin brick that I want to use. So gonna have to get a little creative in figuring out how to finish the front of the porch step. Most of the time when you're doing a project like this, you'll have kind of big steps, or you'll have a very a thicker defined kind of ledge around the side, and those corner pieces are really gonna look the best to make it look the most finished. But in order to save some money and not completely start from scratch and not be able to use the pavers that I have, and because of time restraints, like it would take a couple of weeks for this stuff to come in, I'm just gonna roll with what I have. So here's what I'm thinking. Instead of using these that are thicker and don't match, having these be vertical pieces like this, but cutting some smaller pieces because this lip right here is so small, kind of having it like this, and then having just a tiny little overhang like that, I think will kind of get us the same look here without having to, or without having these L-shaped ones that match the rest of the brick. And now that I've compared all the prices and made sure that I know exactly what I need, I can go to the store and grab all of my supplies.
So here's the materials that you'll need for this project. I grabbed 3 boxes of this thin brick. Just make sure you check them in store to make sure that they're not broken. And then also I needed some grout. I used 3 bags of grout, and I'm using this alabaster color. Because this project is going to be outdoors, I want to make sure that I am picking up a grout that can be used on both interiors and exteriors because it's going to be exposed to water quite a bit. Even though it's under a covered porch, I just want to make sure that it's not going to wear down over time. I'm also going to use mortar that is good for outdoors. I'm picking up the gray version of this one. Also, I am using a grout bag because I'm going to be kind of piping my grout in versus spreading it on top of the tiles. And I'm using these dowels for spacers. I couldn't find any that were 3/8 of an inch, and so I can use them to keep my rows straight. All of the things at the bottom I already had, but for the things that I needed to purchase, this was my total.
Before we can start doing anything with the bricks though, I need to clean all of this area off, need to pick this stuff up, sweep this off, and then we're gonna hose it down or pressure wash it or something to make sure that we've got a really clean surface so the bricks will adhere well.
I got this picture in my closet. It's gathering dust right now, and the edges have been folded once or twice. It doesn't look the same no more, 'cause the sun has made it pale. I used to have it hanging on my wall some time ago. A picture of you. You're standing by that window, playing your guitar. And if I close my eyes, I can almost hear your song.
Alright, if someone could remind Texas that it is fall now, that would be great because they missed the memo because it's almost 100 degrees. But we're gonna let this dry for a little bit. It should dry pretty fast in this weather. I guess that's one benefit. And then we'll come back and get to work. Okay, it's the next day and approximately 1,000 degrees, and I did not get anything done last night because it started raining. But this morning I've been working on making these cuts right here. So this is what I was talking about earlier, making my own kind of L-shape pieces here. They overlap just a little bit, so it's not going to be a completely solid piece. So I'm just going to focus on this area first before we do anything back there. So I think I've got all of these cuts. I just cut all of these little ones at the same little height. So I'm going to go mix up my mortar and we will start installing these. Okay, I think the hardest part may be over. I've got this front step here done, and I think that looks really good, especially since I couldn't use the L pieces. I think that's gonna be really nice. I used tons of mortar especially on the corner, because I don't want the pressure of stepping on it to break the bricks. So now, instead of going like vertical like this, the rest of the way I'm gonna have them run horizontal, and this will be just like a border like this. And so hopefully this section here will go quicker. Okay, it's the next day, and I'm hoping to get all of this brick here laid in place. If you were doing a project like this around the similar kind of size, you could totally do it all in one day. I just had some delays yesterday because our air condition was having some issues, so I had to call someone about that. They had to come out, delayed me for a few hours. So I think it'll be pretty quick to get the rest of this stuff laid how I want it, finish that up, and then once that sets, then we can grout it. Okay, the brick is all laid. I went through and wiped off the top of the brick here just to make sure there wasn't any grout like left on the brick. So now I need to just kind of make sure that there's nothing in between the cracks that's like super loose, because I'm getting ready to grout. And I'm going to be using a grout bag because I don't want to have to be wiping all kind of grout off the tops of these bricks like if I used a grout float. So I'm just going to use this bag, and then I'm going to like icing a cake like this in the joints here of all of these bricks. Normally you'd wait about 24 hours in between like laying your tile or whatever and grouting, but most of this I did like yesterday, so it's already been 24 hours, and the little parts that I didn't, in this 100-degree weather, it's already hard as a rock. So I think it's completely set already. So I think we're good to go to grout.
I mixed this first bag of grout way too thick. It was really difficult to get it out of the grout bag, and it wasn't coming out smoothly. After that, I was able to mix it up a lot thinner, and so it came out of the grout bag a lot smoother and a whole lot easier, a lot less work. So I added a generous amount to all of the bricks in between because I wanted it to come out over the top a tiny bit, and then let that dry for a little while until it's soft but not completely dry. And then I'm using this brick striker, and that's going to just create that little indentations in the grout because that's how the brick on my home is. And so I wanted to try to match that, not the color but the shape. The grout was a little bit sunken in from the brick instead of an over grouted look. And then after that was almost dry, I went in with this little stiff brush that I had and just brushed away any of the excess grout that had kind of crumbled off to make it a lot more smooth.
Okay, the last thing that I need to do for this brick here is kind of clean off the dust and haze from the grout. I've started doing it on this side right here. You can probably see that that's a lot cleaner and brighter. And I'm just taking some apple cider vinegar that you can just use kind of anything that's acidic. I just have apple cider vinegar, and you can use regular vinegar, and it's just gonna kind of cut through all of that dust and make it look nice and refreshed.
Can I tell you what's been on my mind? Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city life. Hey darling, we could get out of town, see the beautiful world around, wanna see it now. Pack our bags and get in that car, leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand. Hey darling, I love it when it's me and you on the road with a couple of tunes in a car for two.
That's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this project. I always like learning something new. Even though I had used brick before, this was just very different to use it outside, so I had to use different products for that. So I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Let me know down in the comments what you think, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!